Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for us. Hit the notification bell, turn it to all posts so that you'll be notified duly of any latest gist that will hit the channel. Thank you. You can also leave a comment after watching at the comment section or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277128777. Thank you. I want you to join me listening to what Kwesi Pratt has to say about the hypocritical nature of the NPP, which is very true, and your comments are most welcome on what he said. Thank you.
I mean, there's so many messages. Good morning, host. We voted the NDC to rescue Ghana and to retrieve all stolen funds, state lands and assets from our neo-colonial masters. Again, we must withhold Akufo-Addo's privileges and ex gratia and his officials to atone for their loot. Akufo-Addo and his officials have breached their oaths of office to protect life and state assets, so we cannot offer privileges to a gang of nation wreckers under the guise of democratic rule and niceties. Ken Williams sent this one. Thank you, Ken Williams, and a dedicated viewer. Thank you so much for always doing the watching. Comrade Pratt.
Well, first of all, let me deal with the query about how one may join, the socialist movement of Ghana. I mean, currently we have collectives in 13 of the 16 regions all over the place, in the tertiary institutions and so on. And therefore, if one wants to join the movement, we need first of all to know where you are. Because if you are in a place where there exists already a collective, then we would encourage you to join that collective by linking you to the leadership of that collective. However, if you are in a region where we do not have collectives yet, any of the 3 regions where we do not have collectives, then we may encourage you to begin the process of establishing a collective in your location. Okay, so it's important to have a lot more information about you who wants to join so that we can determine, how you can be brought into the movement. So for those of you who have expressed interest in joining the socialist movement of Ghana, I would plead that you send these details to Bless, who will then forward it to us, and then we can process it and make sure that you join one of the collectives, or you initiate moves to form a collective wherever you may be. Now, I met Mr. Boakye Ejaku more than 30 years ago in New Jersey, the United States of America, along with a gentleman then called Charles Biney, who has passed on. I traveled to the United States of America to mobilize support for opening up the political space. And I was one of the people who played a very key role in the thinking and supporting the actions which led to the transition from military government to civilian government. And I have no doubt at all that Mr. Boakye Ejaku, in spite of his right-wing orientation, is a fine gentleman who loves his country and is willing to do whatever it takes, to make the country progress. So it is within this context that I take the comments that he has made. However, something has happened in the New Patriotic Party that not many people are talking about. In the run-up to the choice of a flag bearer for the party, we had leaders, all kinds of leaders. Kwabena Japan, Boakye Ejaku, Kennedy Japan, and so on. Tell us about the rot in the party. The fact that the party they claimed had been captured by a cabal, and some of them actually predicted that the fate which has befallen the party would befall the party based on their analysis and so on. Then within the twinkle of an eye, these people were so critical of the party leadership, were critical of the Akufo-Addo administration, who were critical of the manner in which things were being done, based on which they had predicted that the party was going to lose the elections, joined the campaign and started praising Bawumia, praising the party leadership, as if everything was okay. So many people got confused. The lack of consistency of these people who told us rightly that there was something wrong with the party and in the party, and that the party needed a new leadership. Their lack of consistency is shocking and amazing. You understand? Now today, the same people after the party has lost elections have come around, to tell us again that the leadership of the party was not correct, that their candidate was not correct, and so on. Did you know that? And if you knew that, why did you tell the people of Ghana to vote for a leadership that you knew could not deliver, that you knew would lose the elections, that you knew would not pursue the national interest? You see, these people should be told in plain language that Ghanaians are not yo-yos. Ghanaians are capable of thinking. And this election result should teach them a big lesson. How can they be trusted? How can they be different from Dr. Bawumia's team and so on? They all contributed to this defeat, and they should stay in and suffer the consequences. I'm surprised they are jumping out of the ship like rats. The ship is sinking and they are jumping out like rats. But when the ship is in the middle of the ocean and rats jump off it, they fall into the ocean and die with the ship. And that is what is happening. The ship is in the middle of the ocean and rats are jumping off the ship. Where do they go? They fall to the bottom of the sea and they will die with the ship. These people, who is going to take them serious? This display of a total lack of consistency, who is going to take them serious? That's their problem. And they need to overcome that problem. They are pointing fingers. They are pointing their four fingers at the leaders of the party and Dr. Bawumia and so on, forgetting that the three other fingers are pointing to them. That's what is happening. You people, why did they join the Bawumia campaign? Because they didn't want to be left behind. Just in case Bawumia won, they still wanted to be in the team, to enjoy the benefits of office and so on. That's why they jumped onto the campaign team. That's why they went around the country telling us to vote for somebody that they themselves had come to tell us was not good for the job. They should be ashamed of themselves and stop this Bawumia bashing and NPP leadership bashing and so on. They were part of the problem. You understand? Now, with regards to the former member of parliament, also an NPP member, I think it's Honorable Enin, who has started pointing out the ills of the party and who is saying that he's ready to assist the new administration to recover what they call the loot and so on. I have a lot of respect for him. He's been consistent. He never changed his position, unlike those of them who went around the country dancing palugo. You saw them, shaking their waist and so on, as if shaking their waist would bring the electorates to vote for Bawumia. You saw those videos, shameful videos, and so on. But this guy was consistent throughout. He's never changed. Ever since I've known him, he's been principled. He's spoken what he thinks is the fact and so on, and has said that there's a new urgency about resetting the party and resetting the country. And I want to believe that he's very sincere, you understand. Now, he claims that he has information that he can make available to the new government, first of all, to, retrieve the loot and to entrench principles of accountability and probity and so on. I want to believe that he knows what he's talking about. Okay. Now, every citizen, whether they belong to the New Patriotic Party or to CPP or to the other one, Shedda's party and so on, have a responsibility to help the government to recover funds that it can recover in order to invest these funds into the national development effort. The Constitution enjoins us to uphold the principles of probity and accountability and so on. So that is all well and good. However, there have been some criticisms of aura, which I think are legitimate criticisms and need to be looked at. First and foremost, this incoming government campaigned on the basis of the need to include women in the management of national affairs. The gender question was uppermost in their campaign. They campaigned vigorously around the theme that they were going to make the first woman vice president, and so on. So I was a bit taken aback. I was shocked when the transition team was announced, and I could only find two women, one from the outgoing government and one from the incoming government. I said, where is the promise about the inclusion of women? You know, I was taken quite seriously aback. Now, appointments which have been made since then also give cause to worry. Is there nobody in the NDC or nobody in the country, no woman in the country who could serve on this committee? It's an all-male committee. So if you add that to what has happened with the transitional team, there is cause for alarm, cause for worry. And I think that all of us who insist on gender balance, all of us who insist on respect for women, all of us who insist that women are as capable as men should begin to see these signs and begin to talk down before it is too late. Gender balance is an important pursuit, you know, and we need to give it a push and so on. So that's one consideration. Then there are those who have said, and I've read some of the editorials. I've read the editorial of the Daily Guide this morning. I think I've read the editorial of the Graphic and so on, which all insist that whatever happens, even in the pursuit of the principles of probity and accountability and so on, ought to be lawful. We cannot argue with that.
Yeah.
We cannot argue with that. Nobody can argue with that. And I'm quite sure that President Mahama himself, President-elect Mahama himself, will want to do things lawfully. But at every time, every stage, whenever something is being done, we ought to have a mind to legality. Legality.
Yeah.
Legality. It's important, you know. Because, look, what we're doing now is within the framework of this limited bourgeois democracy. This is not a revolution. You understand? This is not a coup d'etat. This is within the ambit of liberal bourgeois democracy. This is a liberal bourgeois democratic order. And I think, I thought, and I still think, that this country can only move forward if we reset, completely reset this country. Completely reset this country. That's what we're doing now. Okay. So we have to have a mind to what is lawful and what is not lawful. I think it's a very useful caution. Now, some other issue which was raised related to how the committee was going to be funded, I think is rather childish. You know, and my good friend Okujato Ablakwa has responded adequately to that.
Yeah.
I mean, he has said that members of the committee would fund themselves, they would buy their own petrol, they would not take salaries, they would not take allowances, and so on. So that answers that question adequately. And I don't think that that's even an important issue. If what is happening is lawful and is in the national interest, and is meant to protect the public purse, and is meant to ensure that the principles of accountability and probity are upheld, I won't count the cost. You understand? But for those who want to count the cost, the answer has been provided that look, this is really a pro bono exercise. You know. Now, even in raising the question about the lack of women on the committee and so on, does not imply incompetence on the part of those who have been appointed. I mean, Mr. Dumelevo was the former Auditor General of Ghana with an impeccable track record, you understand? If you take COP Kofi Boachi, he's an experienced police officer and a lawyer, you understand? I mean, if you're counting policemen who have actually dedicated their lives to fighting crime and so on in Ghana, you cannot ignore him. So he's a pillar in the police establishment, and his experience would be useful. Then there is Martin Pebu, who is also a very experienced lawyer and an outspoken public advocate and so on. And then my good friend Raymond Asher, who has demonstrated skills, extraordinary skills in investigative journalism and so on. Now with Okudjato Ablakwa, Samuel Okudjato Ablakwa, in this last 8 years, if you are looking for somebody who has pursued the objectives, of probity and accountability, you cannot, take his name out of the list and so on. So these are a crop of dedicated people, a crop of experienced people, a crop of knowledgeable people and so on. But still, the issue of gender balancing and the issue of how lawful this exercise is need to be looked at.
Right, thank you very much. Still to come, Citizen petitions President to remove Chief Justice. Also, how Parliament is the cause of mini budget. This according to Ricketts Hagan, and this story is captured in the Anchor newspaper. We have some 39 minutes more before the show ends, and so we have a lot of time. Let me take time to read.
A lot of time.
Let me take 40 minutes. And from the look of things, Ambassador Sampiale won't come because it's already 9:21. Let me take time to read a few of the messages that our viewers have sent through Facebook. Abdul Razak Mahama says, Uncle Kwesi, I am the secretary of SMJ Sattel Collective in Washington, USA. Oh, that's good to hear. Abdul, okay, he comes back to say that, Bota, more fire, you had a foresight.
You mean there's a collective of the SMJ
in Washington, yeah.
Wow, I'm
Seattle,
hearing about it for the first time.
Yes.
Okay, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Bota, more fire, you had a foresight, but they thought you were politicking. Bless Kokwalama, so please say good morning to Uncle Kwesi for me. I'm back to Seattle. I'll call you when day breaks. Okay, all right, sure, thank you. Alhaji Aruna Shaiman says, bless, it will be difficult for Ghanaians to believe the NPP again. Enough is enough. Justice Sefia Mo and Son says, Elvis, I'll support you. I believe in you. You've been very consistent. Bless it. Okay, I think I've already read this one. Joshua Delan says, speaking truth to power. Okay. Elvis is one of the few NPP members that speaks truth to power. He's been on this tax for a while now. My respect and love to him. Omar Melin says, it's time for us to free from the West. Wake up, my people. Mano James says, wonderful submission from the panel members. Good morning, Mano. Many thanks for doing the watching. Okay, this one here says, I am Mohammed Abdul Rahman, a citizen of Ghana and Nzima from Avasin Western region. I am a secondary school graduate of 58 years. I'm willing to be a member of the Socialist movement of Ghana. Okay, so leave a message behind your details on this very number, the number to which you've already sent this message. I'll do the follow-up for you. Thank you so much. Okay, let me proceed to this one. Anyone who is against oral is an enemy to the state. Idrisu from Nima sent this one. Okay, Idrisu, we've heard you. We need quality to work with. Gabi sent this one. All right, Gabi, thank you for your message. Okay. Bless, tell Uncle Kwesi if he doesn't establish an institution for Pan-African studies and African politics before he leaves this planet, we the youth of this country will not forgive him. Mutala from Salaga sent this one. Good morning, Bless. The 5-member committee tasked to identify looters or state funds and lands should not be selective as there are many pen robbers around. The pen robbers are more dangerous than armed robbers, so they should be identified and prosecuted. There are many of these looters who are now trying to make friends in the NDC leadership. Those who are talking about witch hunting should realize that where there are witches, there should be witch hunters. Ghana needs money to use and give Ghanaians a better free SHS without double track. All right, thank you, Baba Gomda from Kumbungu. Thank you, Baba, for your message. Good morning, bless. And your highly respected guest. I want to take a bite from today's discussion. I can see that the reality has come to question the NPP government, but the honest ones will truly accept it earlier or later. Thanks to all those NPP leadership that accepted this reality, including Mr. Bota Mohammed Guru from Wa in the Upper West region. Thank you, Mohammed, and good morning to the people of Wa, one of our very strong, regions in terms of viewership. Please, Pan-African TV. Okay, my name is Alhaji Abdallah from Tamale. I want to be a member of the Socialist movement of Ghana. Okay, send your details to this very number. I'll try my best possible to follow up on that. Thank you. Good morning, Bless, and good morning to Mr. Pratt and Elvis Bota. Please tell the NPP leaders and supporters that they should go back and heal their wounds they suffered from the NDC. Ghana needs serious-minded people like JM to reset the country, and not backward people like Nana and Baumia. Sule Bawa from Mamubi. Thank you, Sule, for your message. So many messages. Let me read two more. Good morning to you. I'm Dennis from Salema, Evaluate Jura Ajomo constituency. The NPP at this time must know that what caused their massacre were arrogance of power, state capture, insensitivity to the feelings and sayings of Ghanaians, loot and share, strange political culture, finance minister taking lion's share in the monies the country borrowed, lack of consistency, tyranny, sheer greediness. They should not look further. Okay, thank you for your message. Good morning, bless. Good to hear that everybody is coming on board for the oral, even the NPPs. The new English word in the Ghanaian political dictionary now is oral. The word witch hunt is erased. BB from Accra sent this one. Thank you very much. Now, citizen petitions president to remove Chief Justice. This story, very interesting, page 13 of today's edition of the Daily Graphic newspaper. A citizen has petitioned President Akufo-Addo to remove the Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Saki Tokono, from office. In a petition dated December 17, Professor Stephen Kweku-Asare, who is a fellow of the Center for Democratic Development Ghana, CDD Ghana, grounded his petition on stated misbehavior and incompetence in relation to the CG's administrative functions as the head of the judiciary, rather than her decisions made as a justice of the apex bench. I therefore petition, it says, I therefore petition the president to initiate proceedings to remove the Chief Justice from office, to uphold the Constitution, maintain the integrity of the judiciary, and restore public confidence in our judicial system, the petitioner said. Elvis, but
well, I happen to know the petitioner. I've had conversations with him, and I think that he's a very distinguished citizen. And like Boache Jakun, he's somebody who really wants to see his country progress. So I would not attribute any ill motives to him. I think he genuinely thinks that the Chief Justice's conduct is unacceptable and therefore ought to be removed. That's what he thinks. Now, if we go to the Constitution, the path that the Constitution prescribes for the removal of a Chief Justice is very interesting. The President, when he receives the petition, needs to consult with the Council of State to appoint 2 justices of the Supreme Court. Any 2 justices of the Supreme Court. One of whom ought to be a member of the commission to look at the petition. And then he appoints 3 other persons, and And the qualification is that they should not be members of the Council of State. They should not be members of Parliament. And they should not also be, they should not be members of the Council of State, members of Parliament. And they should not be lawyers. That is the qualification. Okay. Now, I think that all of us, especially the President, knows the orientation of members of the Supreme Court, knows the orientation of Supreme Court judges. So in choosing those two Supreme Court judges, what is it that would inform the President's decision? That's critical. So you can choose two Supreme Court judges deliberately to give you a certain outcome. It can be done. Then as for the three persons who are not members of the Council, yes, you qualify. Every citizen who is not a lawyer, is not a member of the Council of State, and is not a member of Parliament, qualifies. So that process of setting up the committee can be so skewed as to protect the Chief Justice, can be so skewed as to get outcomes that the President wants. You understand? So you can write a very good petition, excellent petition, based on facts, based on correct analysis and so on, but the power lies in the motion of the President to set up this 5-member committee. And the process of setting up this 5-member committee can actually neutralize everything and keep the Chief Justice in place. In spite of that, I feel very, very highly vindicated. I've made the point that the court is called Supreme, and that the fact that the court is called Supreme does not make it omnipotent. The Supreme Court is not omnipotent. And Supreme Court judges are not omnipotent. Their powers are limited. What is happening is an indication that any citizen of Ghana can start a process for removing them from office. And that should give us a sense of the limitation of their power. You understand? And that should draw the attention to the fact that they sit on the Supreme Court not because they are superhuman beings. They sit on the Supreme Court only because the 32 million Ghanaians cannot sit in judgment over cases. And that is why they, the few of them, have been selected to do that job on our behalf, in our name. So sometimes when I see some post-read and so on, I wonder, this is a very humbling experience for people who sit on judicial panels. It must be a very humbling experience for people who sit on judicial panels. Whether it leads to the impeachment of the Chief Justice or not, is not really the issue as far as I'm concerned. But it's a sobering, it must be a sobering experience for them.
Thank you very much, Comrade Pratt. Once again, I'll take time to read some of the messages that you have sent. Kucho Benjamin Sebe says, good morning to you and your panelists. Watching you live and very in the Wild West constituency of the Upper West region. And good morning to my able MP, Honorable Peter Lankenetobo. Kucho Benjamin sent this one. Thank you, Kucho. Good morning once again. I am Dennis from Nzima. Okay. In my opinion, to effectively combat corruption and political interference, some key positions and roles must be made fully independent. These include the Inspector General of Police, the Electoral Commission, the Attorney General, Supreme Court judges, the Chief Justice. These roles should be filled through elections within their respective institutions, ensuring independence and eliminating undue political interference. Such reforms would provide a robust mechanism to effectively and efficiently fight corruption. All right. Thank you very much, Dennis, for your message. Good morning. Bless. The petition to remove the Chief Justice from office is in the right direction. When Ghana succeeds in resetting the Supreme Court alone, the resetting agenda would be 90% complete. The problem Ghana is suffering today is that the Nanado-led NPP government and Supreme Court made themselves into one, and the Supreme Court worked in the interest of the ruling NPP government. I have always held the view that the resetting agenda must start with the Supreme Court. By Abdulrazak Wamali from Tamale. Thank you, Abdulrazak, for your message. Good morning, host. The launch of the oral team is good news for Ghana, but NEC must do well to assemble the best brains and informants from other parties who have lots of information to support the oral team to recover all stolen funds, government cars, ill-gotten wealth, state lands and bungalows. But to say they'll work without fuel payments and refreshment doesn't make sense when the board members of the cathedral and directors of the non-existent Ketchup Harbour take millions of cedis every month for doing nothing. Okay, thank you for your message. Ambrose from Bolga says, "Hi, bless. I want to be part of the Socialist movement of Ghana, and here are my details." All right, thank you, Azuri Ambrose. We'll do a follow-up. Good morning, Mr. Alomaso. Kindly link me to the Socialist movement of Ghana. You sent your name. Okay, retired scientist, CSIR. Okay, all right. You say you watch us every day. We appreciate you. Thank you. Right. Good morning, comrades. I don't entirely agree with Uncle Kwesi this morning. We understand the need for gender balance, but the gender in question must pull their weight to justify their inclusion.
What? Who sent that message? Who sent that message? Are you saying that how many? There are more than
50% of the Ghanaian.
Yeah, 15 million Ghanaian
yes,
women.
yes.
And you can send a text which suggests that they are not
There's no competent one among
there are no competent ones amongst them. My goodness,
Well,
how can you do that?
Bless, please. I'm Hassan. I'm Hussein from Takrady, willing to join the Socialist movement platform. Thank you. All right. Send the remaining details. Right. Good morning to you in Pan-African TV. I think Sophia Kufu and any other strong woman should be added to the oral team to make it a 7-member team. Baba from Bolga. Thank you, Baba, for your message. Okay. Good morning, Bless, and your panelists, Uncle Kwesi Pratt and my brother Elvis Bota. The oral is about retrieving all stolen funds and state assets. It has nothing to do with agenda issues. As far as Uncle Kwesi Pratt has admitted that the team members are of good credibility, the issue of gender-based discrimination is not necessary. It's interesting how people, view this thing as if there aren't, competent women in the country.
It's so strange.
Yes,
so
I
strange.
mean, we understand you, but
they shouldn't let it look
yes,
like it's a team for vengeance.
yes,
Where it's like people who can hold on the necks of others, but that is not it.
yeah.
But Bless, you live in a country where women constitute about 52% of the population. You must make a conscious effort to involve women
must be deliberate,
in
yes.
the national development effort, in all aspects of the national development effort.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you do irreparable damage to yourself.
Yes, that's true.
Women are key. The participation of women is key in the national development, all aspects of the national development effort. And there should be no compromise on the participation of women.
Right.
Well, I mean, if this mini budget is not approved, it can cause a lot of substantial problems for the new administration. In January, workers of the state sector have to be paid. They cannot be paid if this mini budget is not approved. You understand? And there are many things. I mean, the transitional period, the expenses, the early days of the government, and so on. What is it that can be expended in order to make the government work efficiently and so on? All of this must be found in the mini budget which has not been approved. Now, the mini budget has not been approved because of the 2 boycotts of parliamentary sittings by NPP MPs. And since Parliament resumed, the Minister of Finance has not gone to Parliament to present the mini budget, so that it can be approved. Now, what I'm getting is a suggestion that if the so-called minority side does not approve the tax waivers and the new loans that the outgoing government is seeking, then they would also not approve the mini budget. I think that's irresponsible. That's completely irresponsible. In any case, who has done a cost-benefit analysis of these tax waivers? We've been giving tax waivers over the years. There's no cost-benefit analysis. So on what basis we go on just approving, tax bailouts for companies that we don't know and so on? You understand? So I think that this ought to be a priority, and all of us as citizens ought to put pressure on Parliament to pass the mini budget as quickly as possible. Otherwise, it can lead to a situation where the government machinery would stop. It will come to a standstill sometime in January. This is not a desirable outcome. And those in the NPP who think that this is a way of crippling the Mahama government are joking. They'll be blamed for it. If in January public sector salaries cannot be paid, we will point our fingers directly at the NPP MPs who deliberately refused to create the conditions for passing the mini budget.
Thank you very much. I have a little time. I'll do some more messages, then we call it a day. Ghanaians have confidence in our judiciary because they interpret their constitutions when Ghanaians do not have confidence in our judiciary because they interpret the constitution when it is not in their favor. This Akufo-Addo just destroyed our judiciary system. Morrison in Tamale. Thank you, Morrison. This one here also says, where was Baumia when Nana was introducing E-Levy and Co? He's just a hypocrite. Kucho Benjamin, thank you for your message. Okay. The actions and inactions of the CJ and EC chair are damaging the images of women in high positions. Okay, I know where you are taking this one to. The Hang Parliament has not done anything. Honorable Busumche Sam and Colonel Su were in NDC, but they were always challenging some of the policies of their own government. Even in cabinet meetings, they challenged their own government policies. Echo, Salt Pond sent this one. Thank you, Echo. Good morning to the people of Salt Pond. This one here says, Master Pratt is always factual. The only mistake he made was to doubt Chedda's harbour policy to Kumasi. That's why the massive support from water engineers. Okay. Eben from Takade. Eben, thank you. Your message has been very well received. Good morning, Bless. I like the submissions of both of your panelists. The NPP should visit all constituencies to vet them, and the remaining part of your message is not so clear. Okay. Dr. Bota is a great guy. Why not join the NDC and be our future president? Kwesi from Biakoya district. Okay, Kwesi. Paul from Aflao says, please, what are the details that I would send to join the Socialist movement of Ghana? Okay, so send me your number. We'll take it off from there. Thank you.
Location? And
your location as well. Your number, your location. We'll take it off from there. Yes, sure.
Gender?
So your name, gender, location, your number would reach out to you. Good morning. I want to know which of the presidents set up the committee. Is it Nana or John? Of course, ostensibly it's John Dramani Mahama. Nana Akufo-Addo won't set up.
Is it the oral?
The oral team is talking.
Justices?
No. The oral team that he's talking about. Of course, why would Nanado set up a team to prove his own appointees? That's not going to happen. But thank you so much for your time this morning on the show. Thank you, Dr. Elvis Bota. Thank you, Comrade Kwesi Pratt. Always a pleasure to be here on Thursday.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time on the channel. Please, if you're a new member, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like, and also share to other members to watch as well. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.